Okay, shipheads, we're going to do something a little different today. Okay, so in one of my previous videos, I was using a piece of this plastic here to add some details to my shuttle bay. And I had mentioned that this is plastic that I cut out of the center of the nacelles from the Strange New Worlds Enterprise kit, because I did some mods on that. And I showed a glimpse of that. So, hi bird. I showed a glimpse of that, so now I'm just going to pretend that everybody was asking me in the comments to see more of it. So, here she is. The Strange New Worlds Enterprise Refit. Let's just get her out into space and we'll take a better look at it. Okay, so here we are, we're in space now, and let's take a look at this Enterprise. Just kidding, we're not really in space, it's just my TV. Anyways, let's check her out. So one of the first things I wanted to do was make that saucer section a little thicker. Kind of thought that was a little thin. So I added a piece of plastic from an old bucket around the edge and carefully figured out the window pattern from looking at reference photos online. We got the recreation section back there with the sort of rectangular windows. And then this is just basically a pattern that repeats itself around the edge. Still got a little finishing work to do. I want to smooth this out a little. It's kind of rough. I want to clean out these windows a bit. I'm thinking I might clear them right out and redo them with maybe a different kind of resin or something like that. I'm not happy with the way that looks. Don't know if we can see that. Those RCS thrusters light up. I sort of drilled just kind of halfway through. So I had to come up with this bridge module here. So anyone that's familiar with this kit will know that this is the inner spinning part dome that's supposed to go in the end of the Bussard collector when you get the lighting kit. There's a little motor that this attaches to. This rotates, gives your end piece there, your Bussard collector, a nice animated effect. I thinned out these nacelles, and that's the piece I showed you earlier, that 1/4 inch strip that I cut out of there to make these a little more narrow, kind of oval shaped, a little more similar to the TOS version refit. I added these sort of fins here just to give it that rectangular appearance. So this bridge is that dome and just some little chunks of plastic. I don't have a 3D printer or anything like that, so I'm making this stuff from scratch by hand with scissors and glue and a heck of a lot of patience. I'll tell you that. It took me about 3 tries to get this to where it was acceptable enough. Got a little fiber optic light in the top there. I don't have any flashing lights. I don't have any Arduino circuits or anything like that. I'm doing this stuff cheap from scratch. There's our officer's lounge window. Here's our impulse deck with an actual crystal in there. That cover is from an old set of earbuds. Just a little headphone cover. And the crystal is just from an old bracelet. Costume, jewelry stuff. So there's our extra impulse engines that I've made. So we've got 4 impulse engines on this guy. Take a look down the end of the nacelle there. I filled in that big window that they have on the front. It's not practical. Why would you have a big window that opens right into space? So if we look down below, we can see this lower center dome that I made. And the dome on that is the other Bussard collector spinny part. And then I took the center out of the bottom piece of the dish, created that little ring that has the phaser turrets on it, and added that back to the rest of it that I made from scratch. Cut these out. Wanted some lighting down there. Just thought it would look cool. Here's our photon torpedo launcher. Now this goes right around the neck with a space through it, and the neck goes right through. Got our exhaust vent for the torpedoes. So I made this deflector dish out of the bottom of a clear little plastic bottle, super glue bottle. Unfortunately, it cracked a little bit in the bending process. I was heating it with the heat gun and pressing it inward to get that concave shape. And I cracked it, and I didn't have another one, so I just went ahead and went with it. In the center of our dish, I have a little cone that is kind of a nod to the TOS Enterprise with that antenna sort of copper look to it. That's just a tip of a little Christmas light that's supposed to look, I guess, like a pine cone or something that has that texture to it. I thought that would be cool in there. A little copper paint on there. Get a look at the Arboretum windows. Photon torpedo launcher with the docking ports on the side. I wrecked my decals when I was putting this on. Had this on, nice, it was looking great, nice and smooth. And then I flipped it around to put the decal on this side. But when I did, I looked back and this one was gone. I looked all around for it, and I finally found it. It was stuck to my fingertips, and I ended up destroying it in the process of trying to save it. So that's just actually painted on. Tried to go with the paint scheme of the Refit Enterprise from the motion picture. We got the blue highlights on the neck there. You can see my windows are different colors. I went in there with some markers and just kind of put little dots of color on the inside of those pieces, just to give it a little more variety. So it just looks like, different rooms instead of all just one kind of homogeneous color inside there. So you can see some variations in those windows. I wanted that one to be a little more red, but it looks kind of purple. Oh well. Because if you see the original Enterprise, it always had one red window on the neck section there. Managed to preserve the decals for this one. Did that one right. So I decided not to add the, I don't know what they call them. They're like pipes that go across there, because I wanted it to be a little more like the motion picture Enterprise with that smooth sort of clean nacelle. And again, with the divided front end. But I like the red lights on the Bussard collectors there. I'm a big fan of that, so I lit those up red. One thing I find about the refit is the nacelles are rather boring. Okay, so that is the refit version of Captain Pike's Enterprise from Strange New Worlds.